Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. First things first, happy holidays. I am happy that I don't have to hear any more dreadful Christmas music until, well, next holiday season. However, I tell you what is all year round, which is pro wrestling, and I love that. We do have Dynamite tonight, our Christmas edition. We had mainly Continental Classic matches, and we had one women's match. There is something that I really want to talk about because something felt a little different in terms of how they were doing things with the Continental Classic finals this year. So I'll get into that in a moment. We start off with William Ospreay versus Brody King. For me, I was just like, Brody, please take the win. Brody came in this with 6 points. So did William Ospreay. And for me, I was just like, I would like to see something different personally. After everything Will Ospreay has done this year, I feel like he's had a tremendous year. I feel like in terms of wrestlers, all wrestlers that I've ever laid on my own two eyes on this year, he's had the best matches. With that being said, I wanted something different. They have a really great match. However, it's not enough for Brody King to take the win. Will Ospreay takes the win. He has 9 points. And that's in the Gold League. Now, for me, I am kind of just feeling like, all right, Tony Khan has the opportunity to do something new, something different. In terms of the Continental Classic, for me, I am looking for... you know what? Does it matter who wins? Probably not. I just hope that when it comes to the Continental Classic, it is a tournament where people who are involved go on to do bigger and better things the next year. And Brody King is in this again. And while I feel like he's been doing really great like he did last year, what's going to come out of this? Brody King is not going to advance, but Will Ospreay will. Now, after this, we do have the Hurt Syndicate. They coming into the building. And Renee Paquette is standing there with Christopher Daniels, who was just looking for some TV time, and the rest of this useless security guard standing behind him. For whatever reason, Renee had to be the one to relay the message while Christopher Daniels was standing right there, basically letting the Hurt Syndicate know that Shelton, he has a match, so he can be here. But the rest of you two got to get the hell up out of here. Y'all banned from being in the building. Which I found to be really interesting, because if that's related to whatever happened with Swerve and the Hurt Syndicate, I don't see how that's their fault. When Swerve got involved, he pretty much came from, I don't know, fucking thin air and attacked Bobby and the rest of the group. So I'm not really sure what exactly is the reason why they have to be banned from the building. But that's what Christopher Daniels said, and I guess whatever he says is law. Alright, so up next we do have Ricochet versus Darby Allin. Darby Allin, I didn't want him to win. I love you, Darby, and everything. But Darby had like 2 different color textures of Cadisio tape wrapped around his stomach and his back. He's looking horrible, okay? Horrible. And Ricochet, you know, he's newer, and, well, at least into AEW. So I just wanted to see him get an opportunity to move forward within the Continental Classic. And Tony Khan did exactly what I was hoping that they would not do, which was to bring this match to a draw. However, with this being a draw, Darby Allin does not advance onto the semifinals. Ricochet ends up advancing because now he has 10 points in the Gold League, which I'm okay with. Because honestly, Darby Allin, I like him or whatever, but for me, it's just like, bro, go sit down somewhere and tend to those little wounds of yours, because he's just doing the absolute most. And I like what I'm seeing with Ricochet. He's definitely turned full heel in the past, like, week or so. And thank you to New York for bringing it out of him. I do feel like this is a better look for Ricochet. So I'm looking forward to see what he can offer in the semifinals. Now, after this, we do hear some words from Switchblade, Jay White. I don't know what he said. I was just staring at him, and I wish he didn't have that shirt on. But he was talking about Jon Moxley, and whatever. It's not important. Now, after this, we do have Claudio Castagnoli versus Commander. So what was interesting was when Commander came out, Darby Allin stopped to say something to Alex Abrahantes, who was wearing that classic yellow and blue Wolverine suit. And I was just like, take that shit off. You will never be Wolverine. You're not giving it. Like, I didn't like that look for him. Anyway, he said something to Alex Abrahantes, and then he said something to Commander. Now, Darby ends up leaving or whatever, going to his merry way to the back. And here comes this match with Commander. Now I'm just looking at that. Like, Commander has no points. He has 0 points. What's the point of him taking any points at this point? Claudio Castagnoli came in here with 9 points. So he was tied with Ricochet with the most points within the Continental Classic. So I'm just like, well, if Claudio ends up taking the points, then he would have the most points in the Continental Classic, with having 12 points, even more, 2 more points than Ricochet. Now, unfortunately, Tony Khan had other plans, and what ended up happening here was we find out what it was that Darby Allin has said to Commander. So Commander, in the middle of the match, goes under the ring, pulls out Darby Allin's dusty pink jacket, and he's going through the pockets. He goes in there and he goes and take out some brass knuckles, I believe, and ends up punching Claudio in the face with this. And that helps him takes the win because him cheating. Now, it did surprise me to see that Commander would do something like this. Our newly crowned Ring of Honor TV champion would do something like this. Is it a heel move? I would say no, but I'm still surprised that he would do something like this. Now, if I don't remember, Claudio and the whole Death Riders did attack Commander for no fucking reason, along with Private Party, like one of their first few attacks when they started the whole group. So that was a while ago, and Commander never got his lick back. So I guess you can say that they're even. I do feel bad for Claudio moving forward. I would have loved to see Claudio make it. Maybe I'm just being a little biased because I love Claudio. But Commander, just know that Death Riders, they coming for you in little Wolverine next. So now after this match, we do have, obviously, Commander should have known that whatever he's going to do was going to come up with repercussions. And the Death Riders come out there and it's a post-match beatdown, which I do appreciate. Now, while that's going on, we do have Orange Cassidy, Jay White came out there, and they end up pretty much taking care of everyone else in the group. The Death Riders group, and now it's just Moxley in the ring. And then here comes Hangman to say, you know what, since everybody else out here, let me come out there too. He goes out there, and the three of them are taking turns getting their hands on Moxley. Now, Moxley is kind of beaten up, and he's outside the ring, and he leaves the briefcase alone in the ring with those three idiots. Now, the other two, other than Orange Cassidy, they're going for the briefcase, but Orange Cassidy stops what he's doing, puts some ugly ass shades on, and he tells the other two to stop. Don't touch the briefcase. Leave the briefcase alone. And they actually listen to his dumb ass. I'm just like, so wait a minute. Y'all gonna have a fatal 4-way match for the AEW World Title, and y'all still letting Orange Cassidy tell y'all what to do? What the fuck are we doing? Whatever the situation is, Moxley, I hope you end up retaining that title at the pay-per-view. After this, we do have Okata versus Shelton Benjamin. I was waiting for this since the very beginning to see these two. But I have to say, I did not find this to be as orgasmic as I was hoping for. So it was okay for me. Now, Okada is the one I want to win this whole motherfucking thing. He ends up taking the win against Shelton. And we're going to see these two running back at some point. So I'm not worried about it. But I think it was still okay. Just not the level of excitement that I was hoping for. Okada take the win here with the Rainmaker. And he has 10 points. And he qualifies to make it to the semifinals. So now after this, we do have Swerve Strickland, who is backstage with Renee Paquette, hearing the crowd chanting, whose house, Swerve's house, blah, 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 blah. Everybody loves Swerve. I love him too. And while he's saying that, he's like, you see, do you hear how the crowd is reacting towards me? That's because I had a wonderful year, even though I took some L's this year. However, the good outweighs the L's that I've taken this year. And here comes Ricochet with that fake new laugh that he's doing. And he goes on to say, you see how I'm advancing to the semifinals for the Continental Classic, something that you couldn't do last year? And Swerve was just like, you know what? You're right. I want AEW to succeed, so that means even you making it, that's a success for AEW. However, if you don't succeed, I'm going to embarrass you. And you know what, Swerve? Please embarrass him. I'm getting annoyed with this little laugh that he's been doing. Now, after this, then Ricochet does kind of sneak off and say, oh, that's why your house got burned down. Like, bitch, who are you talking to, Ricochet? How dare you talk to Swerve like that? After this, they kind of ruined everyone's moment here by having a New York Minute with Chris Jericho. Why are we still doing this? Why are we still doing this? Basically saying that he's going to have a match with Anthony Bowens on Rampage. And something like that makes me see why this is going to be the last episode of Rampage. Up next, we have Taya Valkyrie versus Toni Storm. Toni Storm ends up taking the win with a roll-up. I cannot stand roll-ups. And I am at the point where I'm looking at this, especially with how this ended. I don't have any faith for the Vendetta group. I really don't. They have barely gotten a chance to start, and every opportunity that they've had, other than like 2 squash matches against people they picked up from the parking lot, it just hasn't been good for them. And honestly, I really feel like it would be cool to have a all-female stable within AEW. However, nothing has truly kicked off with this group, and this would have been a really great way to start that, and it's just not working out. It's not working out, and it has nothing to do with the ladies. Obviously, Taya Valkyrie and Deonna Purrazzo. This is literally the company not being able to prioritize and protect these girls to make them feel and look like a big deal in terms of a stable. And while losing to Toni Storm isn't the worst thing that there is, but how she ended up losing, I feel like definitely took away any credibility this stable had left. If I were them, I'd probably pull the plug on this, unfortunately. So now after this, we get this little weird thing. Christopher Daniels over there. Well, before that, they did put the whole little video package from Adam Cole and MJF that nobody cares about for this Dynamite on Diamond Ring, whatever, for World's End. Christopher Daniels popped up on Hangman little promo backstage, and basically saying that, oh, you by yourself out there, trying to go for this title, trying to make a big name for yourself, and that if you need something, whatever you need to win at World's End, I'm your guy. What? Christopher Daniels, you gonna do what? What the hell is going on here? Since when do we need Christopher Daniels to help people win a title? Something about that felt really, really weird to me. I mean, if Christopher Daniels was going to turn heel or something like that, maybe they didn't have to do all that. I don't know. Is he looking for TV time? I have no clue. Something about that felt a little bit weird, that he would go on and offer that whatever Hangman needed, he would help him to make sure that he can win the title, which is very interesting. I don't know where that came from. Now, anyone going against Moxley in this match, which is everyone else, obviously, kind of have that babyface rub simply because, well, everyone else but me want the Death Riders to lose. And for Christopher Daniels to help Hangman, it might even come off to be a babyface thing to do. But honestly, it kind of feels a little bit weird that Christopher Daniels is the one that is offering this help. So we'll end up seeing what that will do at World's End. I don't know. Alright, so for our main event, we have Kyle Fletcher versus Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia, I appreciate you doing that little dance that I like. I appreciate that. The match was okay. These two guys are definitely the future of AEW. Kyle Fletcher has absolutely had a really, really great year. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to do bigger and better things for next year. Coming into this match, he had 9 points, and he really needed this so that he can end up having 12 points, which would be him having more points than anyone else in the Continental Classic. Now, yes, Kyle Fletcher do end up beating Daniel Garcia ass, and that's okay. And even at the end, I don't know what that was, but Daniel Garcia was holding on to Kyle Fletcher's knee like he didn't want him to go or anything. Now, look, I'll be holding on to Kyle Fletcher too if I was next to him, but I'm not. Now, I do want to go and say this. So for the semifinals, they didn't do this last year. For this year, it's going to be Okata teaming up with Ricochet. And then it's going to be Kyle Fletcher versus William Ospreay for the semifinals. Winner of each of those matches go on to the finals. And I was really confused as to why they're doing that. Why not just take the person who got the most point from the Gold League and the Blue League and just go straight to the finals. But apparently, that's not what they're doing. So last year, if I could refresh you guys' memory, we had a three-way with the Gold League. We had Jay White, Swerve Strickland, and Moxley. They all tied, and they end up having a match so that whoever won that will end up going to the finals. Now for the Blue League, we had Eddie Kingston versus Danielson. Now, what happened with that was, if you guys don't remember, Danielson had an orbital bone break, and they pushed his matches back to give him a little bit of time to heal. Obviously, they can only do that for so long, so that by the time Gold League was kind of finished, they ended up having these guys having their three-way to stall a little bit with Danielson and Eddie Kingston. Now, Danielson and Eddie Kingston had their match. Eddie Kingston ends up winning. So then in the finals at World's End, we didn't have no semifinals, just a finals match with Eddie Kingston versus Moxley. And then Eddie Kingston ends up winning the Continental Classic. However, this year it's pretty much one person from the Blue League and the Gold League go against each other, and another Blue League and Gold League and another semifinals match. Boo! Don't like it. And I will tell you why. I don't want this. This tournament is really fun. Matter of fact, it felt like we've only had this for like 3 weeks. It felt like it went super quick in comparison to last year. I could be wrong, but it felt like it happened very fast. But whatever, because a lot of it did play out on Rampage as well. Now, for me, I'm tired of seeing the same shit. I don't want to see Will Ospreay versus Okada again. I don't want to see the William and like the same scenarios again. For me, I am kind of over it. So I just wanted to see something different. I think a lot of other fans want to see something different. People who've never seen Okada versus William go at it before are wanting to see that. If you want to see that, go get a New Japan subscription and go back and watch their matches. But I can understand what Tony Khan is trying to do if it is going to be William versus Okada. However, people who've been watching wrestling, who watch more than just AEW, we've seen these things already before, and we want to see something different. I want that everyone who is part of this tournament, that when they move on throughout the year, that they get other opportunities as well. And unfortunately, it just keeps seeming to be the same people over and over again. Will Ospreay is in everything, every single thing that they got going on. And this was the opportunity for them to be like, well, Will Ospreay has participated in this. He didn't make it all the way to the end, but we have other superstars that we would like to put in a situation and to give opportunities to. Will Ospreay has been signed to this company for a year now, I want to say, and he didn't really start till February because he had obligations with New Japan. But ever since then, it's just been nothing but up for him. And while I've enjoyed him in the ring, I am just like, what about the people who's been here for fucking 5 years and gotten a chance to do zero, absolutely nothing in this company? So for me, I'm a little bit annoyed, and I just feel like exactly what you thought you were going to get as soon as they announce the Continental Classic is exactly what we're most likely going to end up getting. So I would not be surprised to see Okada versus Will Ospreay for the billionth time. Either way, this has been a really great tournament. I want to see this on a yearly basis. However, I don't want to see established stars. I don't want to see the same motherfuckers every year. People who need an opportunity to get a leg up in the company should be people who they should consider to be in the Continental Classic. I don't want to keep seeing Claudio. I don't want to see William. I don't want to see Daniel Garcia or anybody who's holding titles. Pastor Briscoe's on this shit like every year. Like, we don't want to see these people. Beast Muertos didn't even get 1 point. Oh my god. You know what? Let me not get into it. Guys, I do appreciate y'all watching my review. I will be back tomorrow with a review on A Ring of Honor. See you guys then. Bye.